Guys, this is your inspiration nurse underscore RN Tierra comes to you live with another great video. So today's video is super special. It's 5 red flags of a travel recruiter. So for you, those that are traveling out there, please travel safe. And for those who just joined the inspiration community and family, welcome and thank you so much for supporting this channel. And for those who's been with me from the beginning, hello, welcome again. Welcome back. Hey, it's good to see you guys and happy Friday. So to get into this video, I felt it in my heart to talk about it because I know that there's so many new grads that are so interested to get started in this travel nursing thing. And it is a thing. It has its own culture. It has its own pros and cons, right? Like any other job. So I felt in my heart this morning to discuss it. So let's get into the 5 red flags of a travel recruiter. First, let's talk about a travel recruiter. The importance of a travel recruiter is so they can manage and they can help you get contracts in the near future. And their jobs are extremely important. So let's talk about the first red flag. The first red flag of a travel recruiter is them making promises that's not on paper. Maybe they're discussing some type of special pay, a special bonus. Maybe they know someone that works at the facility and they're like, hey, I can talk to the person and see how you do at first, and then I might be able to bump your pay. Or if it's not on paper, then you should not be discussing anything outside of that contract because it is not 100% guaranteed. And so that's why as a travel nurse, it is extremely important to interview your travel recruiters. Now you will come across a whole bunch of them, and it's so hard in the beginning when you're starting out to try to find the right recruiter, but it takes time. And when you do, and then when that recruiter moves on and maybe leaves the company and you get another recruiter, you will see the big difference between quality versus someone's just looking for quantity, right? Someone is looking to just maybe benefit off of you, right? Just keep in mind, as a travel nurse, your travel recruiter works for you. Their job is to find the best solution as far as the type of work you want to do, the distance you want to travel to, everything, and your pay, and manage your documents and make sure that everything is up to date and that you're good to go. So that's the first red flag. So red flag number 2, if they're still pushing for you to take on or extend a contract that you said you do not want to extend or you do not want to do. Maybe there's a travel assignment that is a block schedule and you only can work every weekend. You know, you can't change your schedule at all for 13 weeks. Maybe the pay rates drop, which recently the pay rates dropped here in Virginia. Not sure about the other countries and states right now, but I know here in Virginia it significantly dropped, like $30 or more an hour. So these rates are really, really, really low. So, you know, now you have travel recruiters that just want to get you to extend. I remember having a change in my recruiters, which I was not very happy with because the one that I had initially, I really, really liked a lot. We connected. She was a military spouse like me. Very patient young lady. She allowed me to kind of like, you know, just be in the front of everything and, you know, let her know my my absolute no's. And she respected that as a recruiter. And so I would give her definitely a 10 out of 10. She always did a follow-up phone call if she missed a call from me. I always heard from her. So I felt the sense of security when working on a travel assignment. Because sometimes, guys, red flag is you don't hear anything during an assignment. That would be the red flag number 3. From your recruiter. The only thing you will hear if they, again, want you to extend or there's some type of, it's a monetary conversation. It is not about, okay, how are you doing? If you have to initiate that conversation, then that might mean that recruiter has a lot of nurses underneath their care and they're not their priority and you're not their focus. Now, you're not always going to be their priority and focus, but you should be. Because you're working in a place that maybe you never worked before, and maybe in an area you never worked before. Maybe there's some things that might have happened that can be a safety issue or something that's going on, and they do not follow up with you. The only time they follow up is when there's something wrong with your pay or something. That is a big red flag, and I do not like recruiters that do that. Like, you do not hear unless you guys are talking about money. So again, you're going to come across some recruiters. If you join some of the Facebook private groups for travel nursing, there's a whole bunch of them that you can pick from and join. And the beauty of that is you can talk to other travel nurses if you're new to traveling and you're like, I'm not sure if this is a good recruiter for me. How did you find yours? What are the key things did you look for when you're interviewing these recruiters? And it's okay because this is a partnership and a relationship. So far we've talked about 3 red flags. I have tons of red flags, but I'm gonna give you my top 5. And then so red flag number 4. So red flag number 4 would be again a recruiter, right? You can tell the vibes from the beginning that it's not going to be such a great relationship. Maybe your personalities don't go together, or there's something going on with this recruiter just by their words and what they're saying to you. And you're like, something's not adding up. It's, again, you have to be able to assess the situation just like you assess your patients. And traveling it can become very dangerous when you don't have the right support behind you. Just remember that you are in the middle of this relationship. So it's the hospital, you, and your travel agency. Sometimes the travel agency has more leverage or more relationship with the hospital than you do. So they're kind of more on their side versus on your side. So my last red flag would be if something was to happen to you, God forbid, or you were being treated unfairly. I remember my arm being grabbed because a manager wanted me in the room for something that someone else was already in the room for. And all the nurses kind of spoke up. They did not like that. I mean, you don't put your hands on me. So again, things were starting to, once it got towards the end of the assignment, which sometimes what happens in travel nursing, if your assignment is getting ready to end, and you're supposed to get like a couple of thousands and thousands of dollars of bonus. Sometimes what they'll do is the hospital will try their hardest to like nitpick your time, nitpick your everything that you're doing with your patients, saying that you didn't finish your admissions or you didn't finish documentation. A lot of these times you have a hard time logging into their healthcare system or, to chart, and you're telling your recruiter and there's no follow-up, or there's no, they're not saying, hey, well, let me check into that. That shouldn't be happening. They're just like, you sure? Did you call IT? It's like very vague responses. That's how you know sometimes that they're more on the hospital side because they want to keep that income coming in. So you are in the middle. So my best thing to do right now in these times, and my suggestion, is to try your best to get an internal contract with your local hospital in your area, because that way it cuts out the middleman especially when the rates are dropping. The thing with the internal contracts, they pay 2 times, sometimes 3 times more than an external traveler. And I had learned that recently because now I'm ending my assignment where I'm currently at. And we discussed the differences in pay, but it'd be great because then it cuts out the middleman. And then it's just a conversation would be between you and that hospital. But it has to be somewhere that you can trust, that hospital, that team, you feel comfortable working on that floor. And then from there, they can renew only a certain amount of times. I know where I'm currently at, they only can renew your internal contract 3 times. And then from there, you can either apply to work staffing or, go on to the next assignment. So some people are doing that now since the rates are dropping. This is also a really good time to see if you can get into a specialty area that you really desire. I've been working on that myself so I can grow in a specific area. And sometimes you can do that and learn some skills that can be useful when you're traveling around. And that will make you more, it gives you more on your profile. It adds to your profile as a traveler. And then you'll be able to do more as a traveler. But always practice safe, guys. This is your inspirational nurse. I'm only going to tell you the tea because I'm in it with you guys. And so I know the pain when you either lose a good recruiter. I had 2 good recruiters throughout my whole 7-year career as a travel nurse. And in the beginning, I was extremely lucky. My first recruiter, guys, I didn't even have to tell her anything about like she already knew, like she was like, oh, Miss Fleming, just keep in mind, you know, you can do peds, you know, you can broaden your horizon, you don't have to stay, you know, in one location. You know, if you're interested, you just let me know. She was always very respectful. She always had my paperwork in order. Everything was like top notch. And now she runs the whole travel agency. She's the big boss. And I knew it when I first met her, that she was really legit, and she was very structured and very organized. And that's again, values and morals to me. I'm very structured and organized, and that's the type of recruiter that I will look for, right? So you have to find somebody that kind of knows what's going on in the background, what makes you want to go to work, what makes you get up and do this travel thing every day. Because like I said, it has its pros and cons. But this is just my 5 top tips and red flags. And I hope you guys enjoy this, because there's so many happy travelers out there, and there's so many travelers that have been through so much. And sometimes it's good to reach out, like I said, join these private groups. So that way, you know, on these private groups, you can talk to other nurses that can tell you, or they can give you other hookups or network. You know, you can network and get another join another travel agency. Recently, I joined Aya, and so far I really love them because they were very thorough as far as the agency goes. My recruiter got changed, which both of them had the same name, which was really different, but they were very different. And when it comes to their style of recruiting, and I was so sad that my recruiter had to go, because she was so nice. Again, a recruiter should be following up with you if they miss your call. Anything that goes wrong on the facility end of it or on that unit, you need to keep an email track of things. Make sure things are in writing, because there's so many nurses going to jail right now. There's so many legal things that's happening. Nurses are being sued. Nurses are being fired. So you want to travel safe. Don't let the money blind you to things that you know you do not stand for as far as patient safety. Anything with patient safety is a no. You should never compromise patient safety for an extra dollar. You should never feel like you have to do something that maybe a manager wants you to do and you're uncomfortable with doing, and you're like, oh, I don't know, you know, I have to work with these people. Like, you should never be put in an uncomfortable feeling or placed, right, just so they can extend you or, you know, give you an opportunity. Because there's so many travel opportunities out there. It just depends on your preferences. I am a local traveler. I only travel a certain miles from my home. But I had the joy, and the luxury, God has definitely blessed me to be able to do several jobs, like throughout several years. So I really enjoyed it. So I hope this video was super helpful for those who are new to traveling. Happy traveling to everybody. Happy Friday. And for those who are thinking about it, I hope this video was helpful. Maybe you're like on a regular staffing job and you're like, maybe I should sit this one out. I'm just letting you know right now the travel rates are down in Virginia, really low. So if you're staffing, this is something you might want to consider right now before you go out there and start traveling. You definitely want to find a good travel agency. Those sometimes is hard to find as well. Something that, you know, maybe fits your morals and values, things that, you know, you like. You know, maybe some things that is a pet peeve for you that you don't like. You start with the things that you don't like when you're starting out as a traveler, and then that will help you to kind of see what type of travel nurse you are, right? So I will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget, now I have a new TikTok channel called Inspirational Nurse _RN, lowercase RN, guys. Please go over there and check it out. That is the fun side of me. I have dates, my brunch dates and my lunch dates and my fun trips that I take. More of a personal side. So if you're trying to get to know me more on that level, it is a really cool page. I think you guys should go ahead when you have time to go over there and check it out. It's going to be something else. I am putting up there just, you know, things that we all can relate to, just a different statements. It's just a whole different beast. TikTok is very different from YouTube. So it's just a whole different thing. But, you know, connect with your local travelers out here, the ones that's on the units with you when you're traveling around. They can tell you their experiences, but that doesn't always mean that experience is going to be yours. So I hope this video was super helpful. And again, I'll see you guys on the next.